and I was resorting to like going into the freezer and getting all the frosty beer mugs out and stuffing them in a pillowcase and then spooning that all night, and that got really funky. That was a whole different story. But no central AC, and again, excruciatingly hot. So I eventually go, and I give in, and I just buy one of these huge window units. And this thing's an absolute bruiser. It weighs 100 pounds, and it's got a huge intake, and and I'm like, yeah, this will do the job, because I need it to be cold when I'm sleeping. So I lug this thing up the stairs, put it in the window, and it's great for about 2 weeks, Totally cold, and I'm sleeping very well. And one night, I get into bed, and I'm in that lovely kind of, fading in and out of consciousness, kind of, oh, almost there. And, it's nice and cool, and all of a sudden I hear this. And I was like, oh, that's odd. And it, kind of wakes me, and at that point, I realized something. This was like an organic thud. We just have some human instinct that tells us, like, yeah, that which just hit the floor is alive. This wasn't my wallet. And I thought, okay, well, I better investigate. So wipe out my eyes, sit up in bed. At first, I don't hear anything. I'm like, all right, I'll turn on the light. So the light comes on. I look down, and I heard the sound before I even made the visual connection. But this thing goes airborne. And it just hovers. It's like... And I thought, oh, it's a hummingbird. Oh, it's something crazy. It's something I don't even know about, some sort of Asian beetle or something. And it just hovers at head level, and I'm staring at it. Now, when an insect goes airborne, its little wings are flapping at like 1,000 rotations per minute. But, in that moment, when you look at it, it's like just the Valkyria, like, and I'm kind of staring at it like, oh my God, okay, I think it's something big. It's got a hard exoskeleton, and I'm out of here. So I jump up, unwrap myself from the blankets, and I run out into the hallway with nothing but my boxer shorts on, and I close the door, and it's shut. So now I'm out in the hallway, and my roommate's asleep, of course, and I'm kind of pacing around. So at this point, I'm like, okay, what do I do? What is it? Is it, is it something? Is it poisonous? I don't, trying to figure out what it is. And, I pretty much determined that it's a big bug, and I don't like it. So I just thought, let's leave it at that. Let's go with that. I'm out here in the hallway. It's in there. Everything's fine. And then about an hour and 15 minutes later, fatigue started setting in, because, I'm like, okay, I'm out here. It's in there, pacing around. I could go sleep on the couch. Don't really want to do that, and I'll be damned, quite frankly, if this little bug is going to hold me hostage from my own room. So at that point, I crack the door, and I kind of wedge my face in between the door and the door jamb, and, I'm looking around for this thing, and it's nowhere to be found. And that's the scariest part of this whole story, because, just if I could see it and identify it, fine, but I don't even know where it is or what it is still. So at this point, I thought, well, I better step inside. So I go into the room cautiously, of course, like this, because what's not happening is it's not going to fall on my head. Okay, that's not going to happen. But I still don't know where it is, so very scared of it falling from above. Once I ruled that possibility out, I'm kind of just surveying around. All of a sudden, boom, out of the corner of my eye, there it is, perched atop the magazine butler on top of my bureau. So this thing is disgusting. It's cream-colored. It's got polka dots. It looks like a freaking Cadbury egg with spots. Run outside of the room, and this is where my process gets a little twisted. I go into the kitchen, and I'm like, how am I going to absolutely dismember this thing? I'm looking at can openers. I've got tongs, knives, all sorts of crazies. Creme brulee burner, it's like, I'm like, okay, hold it down, torch it. No, okay, so what do I hate? What always ensnares me in the kitchen? Saran wrap. So I'm like, great. Bring out the saran wrap. You know, you got to twist it up 5 times, ball it up, you know. I finally get a piece out, and I traipse through the hallway with it, you know, feathering behind me. And I launch it over the top of this thing. And it sort of flutters down and, you know, and snares the thing. And I'm like, oh, great. Okay, it's over. And then I basically went over and trapped it, and then it was kind of fascinating, you know, because I'm looking at all the colors, and I'm like, well, now that I've got it inside of my little bubble here, it's kind of cool. And I thought, okay, now I just have to execute it, and, you know, clearly I'm going to do that by crushing it to death. So I put it down on the floor, twist it up, and I thought, you know, let's get it really tight and create a lot of pressure. Smack it with a dictionary or something, you know. That'll be great and fast. And I kind of get it down. And then all of a sudden, in one last great act of retribution, it pops up on its hind legs, and its horn sticks out of the top of the saran wrap, and out of the room I go again. And there you have it. Eventually, I had to get all those bundled up pieces of saran wrap and cover it and smash it into oblivion.